What's up? What's up, guys? It's Oscar. Hey, I'm coming at you with a tagged or response to tag video by David Gonzalez, my boy. He tagged myself, Scott Ostermiller, and Taylor Alejandro to do an old school shave. So some throwback stuff. Now, I kind of messed around with trying to figure out what to use for the shave because old school. I kind of thought, okay, do I go back to some of the first things I ever had? Or do I go back to some of the throwback stuff because there's a lot of stuff that's kind of throwback or dupes or inspired bys and stuff like that, or just some of the a little combination of both. So what I went with, I'll mention some of the stuff that I was gonna use, but then that I didn't decide to. Honorable mentions, kind of, if you will. But first, the razor I was going to use the Grand Shave King, which, if you know, Phoenix's double open comb series is kind of a throwback to this. Now, this is they call it a self-lubricating razor, and it is. It's pretty mild because of kind of the length of the combs, but it leaves tons of like water and product, so you can just kind of go right into your subsequent passes and always never really have to worry about drying out. But I didn't go with that one. It was a tough decision, but I'll show you what I am going with. I'm going with a Gillette Tech. This is like a travel size. I got this, and it wasn't painted like this when I got it. I got it in an antique shop in a small Central Coast town called Cambria in California. It's up near, heading up towards San Simeon, towards the Bay Area, Big Sur, that area. And stumbled in, found this, and then had it sent to Scott Ferguson at North Shore Razors, where he did me, he did it red, white, and blue, because I had gotten this right after I had gotten this brush from Local Gent. The red, white, and blue, Rob Phillips made this. And I got this around the same time. I thought it'd be cool to match. So, but I will not be using this because it's not old school throwback. So the Gillette Tech, it's a date code T3. I used to know what date that was. I forgot. Maybe if you know, throw in the comments. It's date code T3 in the Gillette Tech travel size razor. And it has a Gillette Silver Blue blade. As far as the soap, now, again, it was a tough decision, but this is a pretty good throwback. I'll be using the Barber Pole Synergy 2.0 by How to Grow a Mustache. That's pre-Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement. Now, Barber Pole is, and red, white, and blue go with the razor, but Barber Pole is a awesome barbershop scent. This is about as pure barbershop to me as it gets. This is the one that most sparks the nostalgia and the memory and everything of what a barber shop should smell like. Now, this one is actually predecessor to this one, CAD. Also How to Grow a Mustache before it became Phoenix. Now, they're both Synergy 2.0 base, so that was, I believe, his second base. David used a 1.0, if I'm not mistaken. But Barber Pole came after Barber Soul, which was supposed to be a knockoff or a dupe of Barbasol, the brand. But from what I understand, Douglas heard from the Barbasol people, and then he changed it to Barber Pole, from Barber Soul to Barber Pole. Then somehow, I don't know, there was still more legal stuff going on, so he got a cease and desist, which cease and desist became CAD. Still roughly the same scent, pretty much the same thing. But to me, quintessential barbershop scent to me. So of course that'd be old school. Now the brush, I was actually, the aftershave I'm gonna use, I was kind of torn. I mean, you want to go old school, doesn't get much older than Florida water. But I won't be using that. That was a toss up between, this was the first aftershave I ever bought because I was really, really wanting to build up a shave arsenal, but I just didn't have the resources at the time, if you will. So I just went to, the Rite Aid and got Pinot Clubman. That's about as old school and OG as it gets as well. But what I'm going to use is Haya Hai Karate. This I actually found on OfferUp. This girl was selling her dad's stuff, and I got this and 3 more for $5 a piece. So 4 of these for $20, and I barely scratched the surface. And I actually gave one away at the first event in a raffle. I believe Rick Kent got it, and I still have a couple more, so I will be using this. So that's old school and OG. Oh, my brush now. Brushes, because there's a lot of restores and whatnot. People doing restores of old school ones and redesigns of old school design. This is actually a restore of an Everready 200. One of the 200 series, I'm not sure. This was my very first brush restore. I got this at an antique shop as well. It was all brown and kind of discolored and nasty. An old brush or an old knot I cut out. Sent it to Thomas Burgess, and he restored it for me. Brought out the yellow, painted the lines. Decided to kind of leave the letters the way they were, kind of to give it that kind of old school look. And it had these cracks. Now they're not really cracks you can feel, but they're in there for some reason. And we decided to leave them. I don't know what we could have done about it, but to leave them and give it some character. So this is, and it's a AMAC, Anthony Mackenzie, Best Badger, I believe. Anyway, so that's what I will be using. So I've already talked for 6.5 minutes, and let's get into it. So amazing. So, yeah, just, I wonder how everybody's doing with all this craziness. And I didn't bloom it. It's just it'll take a little while to lather. How everybody's doing with all this crazy, quarantine and all that kind of stuff. Just, we're doing our thing. Luckily, Marie and I are both able to work still. She works for Kaiser, and she's even able to work from home. So that's a good thing. So I'm, kind of feel for everybody out there, nurses, everybody who's kind of not able to work, and it's tough. And luckily, I'm even able to kind of fill my free time with, making stuff, woodworking. If you haven't seen my Facebook and stuff like that, you can go to my personal Facebook or to my Instagram. I'm making a lot of wooden American flags, thin blue line flags. Rustic, you torch them, and that kind of thing, and all that kind of thing. And it's funny, there's a Facebook page. It's all kind of flag makers and stuff, and there's some people doing really good work, but inevitably there's some people that just troll, man. I mean, it's surprising how anybody just feels boldened by being behind the keyboard. But they're saying why would you desecrate the flag and all this other stuff? Because they're putting like thin blue lines, or they're mixing, for example, they're doing half American flag, half Mexican flag, or half whatever, and I don't know. To me, it's not desecrating a flag, because you're not taking a flag and actually like burning it or tearing it up or drawing on it or graffitiing it on it. What you're doing is you're not taking something that already exists and doing something bad to it. You're creating something, as a good intent. I mean, also, if you're gonna desecrate something, a lot of that is in the intent. When people would want to burn the flags, and I'm not going to go into the whole free speech thing aspect of it all, but that is desecrating and damaging the flag. That's without getting into that kind of discussion, but what I feel strongly, what I'm doing is creating like an art piece, that's there's no bad intent to hurt the flag or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, so if you're interested, I can do, service flags, army, thin blue line, thin red line for fire, whatever. So I started to record this video and the foam came off the little holder and fell in the water. So I don't know if I said that in this video or anything, but I had about 6 days worth of growth because with the whole COVID thing, they changed my schedule from a 7 days on, 7 days off, and so I had, 6 days, almost 7 days to just grow, let it grow, see what's going on. And plus, I kind of get it. It kind of comes out kind of gray. And I kind of did this thing where I just shaved the neck and tried to leave a little bit of a stubble beard just to see how it looked. I'd never done that before, but it looked okay, but got to go back to work tomorrow. So, but yeah, so here we go. Gillette Tech, it's pretty mild. The comb, the bar sticks out to the side, so there's not a ton of blade exposure. So, but it's very efficient and it's super easy to use. You just gotta, it's basically a 2-finger shave, So yeah, I have a lot of growth, so there's going to be multiple passes. So I usually will go straight from my my width of grain into my cross grain because my skin is still fairly lubricated enough, if you will, to do that. So I kind of do a 2.5 pass shave. And it's good to see. I'm kind of glad David called me out or tagged me on this because I've been, kind of wanting to do videos, but I don't know. I don't want to say I've lost a passion because I haven't. It's just, other things come up. Other things come up and, life happens. Sometimes you just don't have time. And because it's funny, David said old school wet tubers, and I'm like, David mentioned old school wet tubers, and I'm like, I got into shaving and like this, wet shaving, into the hobby anyway, at the end of 2014, and started making videos kind of right away. But it's weird to think that was only 6 years ago, and it's considered old school now. It's funny. Yeah, I got really into it. I got really the last few months I've been really big into the woodworking thing. Really dove in, and I really got into the wet shaving thing. Look here. Let me take you. So